Hello again, everyone. It is Aubrey Haas coming to you from my new favorite spot up here at 9,700 feet. It is the last day of October. It's chilly up here today, which is nice. It's probably in around 50, maybe. I don't know. But it's really beautiful. And I come up here to one, get my exercise, and two, to just think and sort things out. And I saw a conversation that was happening the other day, and it was around. We'll just call it names. We don't have to talk about the particulars, right? But the majority of the comments that were in the discussion about it were all about how well people, why do we have to be so politically correct? It's we've been saying that for such a long time, and this and that, the other, and it struck me that all the people that were saying that, the word that they were using wasn't offensive to them because it never affected them, right? But it affects others, and we all have our own experiences in life, and I'm not one to judge anybody else's experience. I can't imagine what it would be like to be in somebody else's shoes, and whatever experience that led you to believe something. But what really strikes me is how much we've taken this conversation and making it about politically correctness, and we got around away from making it about treating people with dignity, decency, and respect. And I want you to think for a moment. All of us probably had a pet name that we hated, or in a relationship where somebody tried to call us a pet name, we're like, no, you're not going to call me that. And imagine what it would be like if they continued to call you that. Like, you'd get mad after a while, right? Or if you ever had somebody that can't remember your name and always calls you the wrong name, if or a version of your name that you don't like, if your name is William and somebody's calling you Billy all the time, and you're like, I don't like being called Billy, right? You're gonna say something because it's like, hey, stop that. My name is William. Call me by my name. And of course, that doesn't affect all Williams, does it? But it affects that one. So why would we ever think to say, oh, well, you just need to deal with it? No, they don't. Actually, we get to be the ones that are in charge of our actions, right? And we get to be the ones that say, you know what, I respect you. And because I respect you, I'll respect what you want me to call you or what you don't want me to call you, right? And just because we've been using terms for a long time doesn't make it right, especially when for that long time there's been groups of people that have been trying to get away from that name being used or called, right? And again, the only people that are really standing up and saying get over it are the people that it doesn't affect. And if that's you, something to look at, right? If it doesn't affect you, how can you in any way, shape, or form have an opinion on it? Because, an opinion, of course, looks inward and judgment lashes out, so a lot of this is judgment. You are something because you're saying that. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I shouldn't have to. You do this. That's judgment. That's being the judge and juror, casting judgment, making it something, right? But it doesn't affect you. But again, if you were being called a name that wasn't your name, you'd eventually get mad and tell people to stop it. But imagine that you have kids, right? And every day I would walk up to your 10, 12-year-old daughter, and I'm like, hey, how's the filthy little bitch today? I bet you'd stop me pretty fast, right? I hope so, at least. But imagine if I said, well, why are you just, this world is so politically correct. I should be able to say whatever I want. And now most of the time, as I say that, people go, well, that's different. No, it's not. It's only different to you in this moment, in this example. But it's the same to the other people that you're just browsing over. And we can't pick and choose how the situation affects somebody. And really the way to get around it is just on an individual basis, just be able to say, hey, listen, You know what? I respect you. I respect other people. We don't, the fact that we feel it's an inconvenience as people to put a word away. I mean, if you think about that, hey, don't say this word anymore. Well, I'm offended. I should be able to say whatever I want. Why is that word so important to you that you would rather hurt somebody else or a group of people than to just go, you're right. I can do that. Or even say, hey, you know what? It's going to take some getting used to, but I'll do it. Like, why is it even a conversation? Because it wouldn't be a conversation at all if I walked up to your little daughter every day and said, how's the filthy little bitch? Or maybe your wife, right? You know, and it's no different. You might think it's different because it's like, well, no, this is a totally different situation. No, it's not. It's simply words being used that someone else doesn't want to be used. That's it. Doesn't matter what the words are. Doesn't matter how long you've been using them. It only matters that if we're offending somebody, who cares why it offends them? Who cares how it offends them? Who cares if we think it shouldn't offend them? When did we stop being decent to one another? When did we stop respecting people enough and being empathetic enough to say, you know what, if that hurts you, I don't want to hurt you. I don't have to say that word or use that term. You know, why we think that's a right? It's not a right. We don't have rights to go around hurting people. Because where does that stop? And, you know, it's so many people have judgment about things that don't affect them. You know, one of the things that I always laugh about is there's this definition of fanatic, right? And fanatic is the definition that I like is a fanatic is somebody who's really excited about something that you have no interest in. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of true. And really, these things are something that doesn't affect you and you have no interest in. And so therefore, you go, well, I should be able to say it. And I think it's time to bring human decency back and respect. And to really listen to one another and understand why those words matter to that person and understand, or at least try to, right? The logic that they're using. Because we might not understand why, but we can understand the logic that they're using the example of you know, your daughter or you being called the wrong name. Using that logic, you'd probably say, you know, it's a logical thing that I would ask somebody, please call me my right name. You know, well, these people are asking to be called whatever they want to be called or stop being called the wrong thing. So we could understand that logic. And I just think it's interesting on how many people are up in arms and have what they think is an opinion, but is judgment about something that doesn't affect them. And how could you until it does? So it's just something to think about. And if we always just err on the side of respect and human compassion and decency, we're always going to be on the right side of everything. And we don't need to know the reasons why, right? I mean, if you're dating somebody and they don't like to be tickled, who cares why? Who cares why? Don't tickle them, right? Don't tickle them. Don't say, oh, I've got a right to do that. And we do this in so many different ways until it comes up to something like this. And we go, well, this whole world's just becoming too politically correct. No, it's a matter of this whole world starting to realize that we've been doing the wrong thing for a really long time with groups of people. And now the groups of people are gaining some traction and saying stop, which they've always been saying. It's just that we've never heard them before because we always buried it. Now it's not being buried. So that's all. That's my wisdom at 9,700 feet this week. I hope it opens up something for you. You can agree, disagree. All I ask is that, you know, put your beliefs to the side for a moment, listen with an open mind, and see if something shakes loose for you. And hopefully it does, because, again, it doesn't take any energy to be decent to one another. It doesn't take any energy to respect one another and just connect on a human level, because that's all we've got. But that's it for now. I am going to enjoy this cold weather. In fact, I'm going to put on a layer up here. It's starting to get cold here in the shade. But I will speak to you at a time later than this. Bye.